What is going on, gang-a-lang? We are back with another tier list, and this time around we're going to be ranking the different senses that a human has. And for today's video, you'll have yours truly presenting it.
Oh, am I doing this video?
Joe, you senile old man. Why the hell would you present the video when you didn't even do the intro?
I don't know. Maybe for shock value or something?
No, Joe, we're not doing that. But yeah, let's get this tier list started. And up first we have taste, and I know this is important for overall life enjoyment, but come on, you're telling me that without taste our lives would suck. Like it's a cool one to have, but I'll still enjoy living life without taste because I'll still be able to hear or see, and the only times that not being able to taste would suck. It literally is only whenever you're hungry, and honestly 3 meals out of your day isn't much of a sacrifice, so I'll put it in A tier because I still love to taste things. And honestly, it's important, but I don't love food like crazy. Well, not as much as Donald though, because I know his ass would put this in S tier, because he can't live without his 6 meals a day and snacks in between each meal. Even though if he lost his sense of taste, he'd probably eat less and finally get closer to a normal weight.
Why am I catching strays once again when I haven't even given an opinion on it? Maybe I'd agree with this sentiment, and honestly, it's rich hearing all this slander come from your ass, and you still put this in A tier.
Well, where would you put this in the tier list, Donald?
Well, definitely not A tier. Hell no to that. This belongs in S tier.
My point is proven right there, but don't worry, Donald, because I kind of agree, even though I trashed on it a decent bit. Well, anyways, following that entry, we then have a weird one, and that is interoception. And let me explain this one, because interoception is the collection of senses providing information to the organism about the internal state of the body. So an example of this is when you're able to tell that you're thirsty, so you know to take a drink of water, or when you can feel that your bladder is full and you know you have to use the bathroom. Like without this one, I'm pretty sure we'd all just die or not function as human beings. Like imagine just randomly passing out from thirst because you can't tell that you're thirsty, or even dying from hunger because you haven't eaten. Or even worse, just imagine wetting yourself or pooping yourself, all because you couldn't control your bladder and butt. I have to give this one an S tier.
Funny that you would mention that, because sometimes I can't control my bladder, but I'm sure it's fine. Only a tiny bit of pee comes out when I laugh too hard, but also I have these super vivid dreams that are almost lifelike. And I remember in my dream I had to really pee, so I went in a urinal and started pissing. And as I was pissing in my dream, I then woke up and found myself pissing myself in real life. It was pretty embarrassing, but I figured that since I already wet the bed, I may as well finish the job, so I just kept pissing in my bed till I was all done. Then not being able to control my butt is a whole different story, but I can assure you that it has nothing to do with my body's interoception.
What the hell? Well, I like the pee story, Joe, because it just shows how incompetent you are, and quite frankly, anytime you show how incapable you are to be in office, the happier I become.
What, bro? Can a man not piss himself in peace without people thinking he isn't mentally all there? I mean, at least I don't have the biggest handicap that you have. I genuinely feel bad that I have to run against you, knowing what I know about your disability.
Joe, I literally am perfectly fine. I have no disability.
Nah, bro. You forget that you have disability. Disability to eat some food because you're so goddamn fat, you goddamn obese whale.
Jesus Christ, now that was a nice Joe roast right there.
The guy literally told a story about him pissing himself. Am I supposed to be offended that he called me fat?
I'd hope so, because damn man, those rolls multiply when you sit down. Got you looking like the Pillsbury Doughboy or Michelin Man. Yeah, let's go with Michelin Man, because that one was better. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and move on to our next entry, because then after we have pain, and this gets a D tier, like I get that pain is important because it tells us about our body and if we're in danger, but like, dude, I would rather just not feel pain. Like imagine being able to walk around with no joint or back pain. I know I'd be happy as hell even if my cartilage is dwindling away and I'm just rubbing bone on bone, because at that point I wouldn't feel any pain, and I like that.
You know what? I'm kind of seeing the vision here. Imagine never getting an upset stomach or even having GERD from eating too many spicy things. I am on board with this Barack.
Well, that's not exactly my first thought, but glad to have you on board.
No. You guys cannot desecrate the sacred art of pain. So you can't attribute all pain to something bad, like masochists, for example. Are you going to invalidate their experience with pain and how much they like it? Like take the Joester, for example, because I personally love to feel the good type of pain, if you all catch my drift. Like when you peel off a delicious scab that just hurts the entire time you do it, but you love the way it just burns and hurts your flesh. Then we can also talk about how good having a sore body and then just getting a deep tissue massage or something like that sharp pain on your already sore body just makes it so freaking good that you'll get the Joe dog moaning, and I don't even try to hide it because much like Beyblade, I just let it rip. Plus, if we want to get super technical about stuff, then we could talk about how chilies and spice are literally just pain, like the pain receptors on your tongue just go off when you bite into the seeds. So without pain, we wouldn't be able to enjoy spicy things. And if you ask little old Joe here, I'd say that would be one of the biggest travesties that we can have.
You kind of had me with that last part. But literally, almost everything else you said before that kind of invalidated it for me, so it's still staying in D tier. Anyways, up next we have proprioception, and this one is basically your body's ability to sense movement, action, and location. So this is pretty important because imagine having no orientation of where your hand is, unless you see it right in front of you. That being said, though, I don't think it gets anything higher than a B tier in my book because I find other things more important.
Okay, you literally said that this determines the orientation of your body, and yet you gave this only a B tier. Like, how would you even walk if you don't know where your foot is?
Listen, man, I know you're only worried about this because you would be scared by the fact that you can't guide a burger into your mouth without this. Now, this rating stays as is. But up next, we have a banger because we have hearing up next. And I am giving this one a solid A tier. Like, try imagining your life without sound. Like, for one, you probably couldn't be listening to this video unless you were reading the closed captions. But two, imagine not being able to listen to any music or any sounds of nature. You may find the bird chirping annoying now, but I bet if anyone lost their hearing, they'd even miss the simpler things in life like that.
I mean, I think I'd personally be okay without listening to people. Now, seeing is something that I would be in shambles if I lost it.
Okay, I was getting to that, Joe. But yes, you're right, because I have vision going straight into S tier. Because I have to agree with Joe here, that even though not hearing stuff would suck, I think not being able to see would suck infinitely more. I don't even feel like I really have to explain this one, because you wouldn't be able to see this very video or any of the things in life. So this is something that is to be very appreciated. Following that, we have a bit of a stinker in balance. Because I am putting this into C tier because it's cool to be able to balance, but honestly, it's not as important as the other things above it. Like if you ask me, I think I can live without being able to walk in a straight line or being able to balance myself in one foot. And again, I'm only placing it this low because the other things above it are much more important, which, speaking of things above it, I then have smell going into B tier because, once again, this is something that your life would slightly suck without having. Like, imagine not being able to smell a nice cup of tea or coffee. Or in Donald's case, imagine him not being able to smell some bacon or burgers.
Okay, man, you keep coming after me, but this is genuinely a big L of a take right here, because how are you going to prioritize smelling over your literal balance? Or even proprioception, like I mentioned earlier. I am still not over that because that is such a horrible placement, and now you're doing the same with smell, except you're gassing up smell too much.
Gassing up smell.
Joe, that wasn't that funny. And Donald, you're more than welcome to disagree, but when Fraile asked us to do a human senses tier list, wasn't it both you and Joe who said, nah, we ain't doing that? So this is kind of on you, and this is my list, so deal with it. So following that, we are now on our second to last entry, and up next is touch. And just for a second, imagine yourself not being able to feel anything at all. Your sense of touch determines everything, and it wouldn't be just your hands, but rather your whole body would lose the sensation of touch, and you'd be numb to everything. So I think that is super important for the body, and I have to give this one an A tier.
Again, bro, like what is with these ratings?
Now hold on, Donald. Barack might be spitting pure facts with this one. And it is definitely an S tier in the Joe Dog's book, because imagine not being able to feel anything. Now, if you think about this question critically like the Joester, you'll realize one super important thing. Him, and that is the fact that if we don't feel any sort of sensation, then we would not be able to jack off. I rest my case.
Well, look at this. Joe may have a point here. I take my comment back, Barack.
God damn it, that is not at all what I was implying. Whatever, man, because we're on the last thing on our tier list, and it's our body's ability to regulate or feel temperature, I assume, and this gets an easy C tier. Like if I can't feel hot or cold, then that would be pretty cool if you ask me. But if it's the fact that I can't regulate cold or heat in my body, well, I can fix that with a heater or a fan, so it's not that important.
Speak for yourself, because if I can't control how cold I am, then imagine the amount of swamp ass I'll get from sitting down.
The Joe dog personally enjoys his asses to be swampy and his balls to be sweaty. It helps with the good stink that I have going on. My aura just grows stronger. Now, what is freaking going on, gang-a-lang? We are back with an amazing tier list. And if you all can't tell, the Joester is absolutely just in heaven right now, because I get to rate some freaky deaky tier list, and you bet your bottom dollar that the Joe dog is going to be the one to rank all the different fetishes based on what I like most in the most advertiser-friendly way. And this is all educational, and viewer discretion is advised.
Way to go, Sleepy Joe. I am so absolutely sure that YouTube won't care at all about this tier list because you said it's educational.
Well, he did say viewer discretion is advised. And honestly, that's half the battle right there.
Whatever, man, either way, I know that this is going to be some real sicko stuff right here, because Sleepy Joe is everything but a normal man.
Donald, let's not sit here and act like you aren't a weirdo yourself. You did say you love Dommy Mommies and you like to be controlled.
Well, that's freaking normal, man. And even if you try to call me out on that, guess what? Joey is a freak who is also into that stuff.
I'm no freak, but I am the king of the sheets. Real master level gooner right here, who goons not for the glory and the fame, but rather I goon purely for the love of the game. The Joe dog is the omnipotent presence, and I want to be regarded as a god when it comes to being freaky deaky or the art of gooning. But yes, enough of my dreams and ambitions, because we have a goddamn list to do, and I can't wait to sink my teeth into this wonderful list. So up first on this list is an absolute goddamn stinker, and I don't want to hear a peep come out of you, Barack, because I personally do not care how much you like to wear fursuits and how you participate in circle jerks where you all just play with each other's tallywhackers. And don't get me wrong, that's cool, but to do it in freaking fursuits, man, God, that is sick and demented. I can't even imagine all the stink emanating from the suits, and how when some people are about to finish, they probably let out an alpha wolf howl, and then everyone just joins in on the howling. Or even worse, what if they're horses or cats and they start neighing or purring whenever they're feeling good? Like, I'd maybe be down for the cat one, but I don't know, Barack. You'd have to heavily talk me into it, that or just have a moderately attractive person in front of me. It still gets a D tier.
Are you finished?
Maybe, I guess. Oh, wait, do you guys also use those butt plugs with like tails and stuff? Because I can actually maybe see that being cool, and you can pluck the tail and hear a little pop.
Joe, if you would let me speak, I would happily tell you that I don't know any of that, because being a furry doesn't mean you're a weirdo freak who is into that kind of stuff. And some people just like cosplaying as their persona and just getting to interact with different yet like-minded individuals who won't judge you based on your looks, because you won't be yourself, but rather a character you created, and thus that alleviates so much societal pressure and just lets you be whoever you want to be. If you got bullied throughout your youth, then have no fear, because you can invent a burly and tough lion persona who stands up to any bad people and won't get talked over, because he is a strong and proud lion, and you too are strong and proud whenever you wear the suit.
What the ever-living hell are you talking about? You're making it seem like these motherfuckers are like Batman or some shit. With great power comes great responsibility, with your dumb ass. I think that whole monologue you just had, that probably most definitely came from the heart, was boring and lame as hell, and Joe was right to put it in D tier, even if we take out all the weird sexual stuff that the group most definitely does. Don't act like it's only a small portion, because it is most definitely, more often than not, the majority.
I don't think I could have said that better myself, Donald. I love the way you just put that freaking guy in his place. I'm sorry to our furry fans not named Barack, but yeah, that's just a no-go for the Joester. But anthropomorphic fantasy creatures like a Vaporeon or a centaur, Oh man, don't even get old Joe started on that, because that's a whole different roller coaster that the Joe Dog is more than willing to ride. But enough of that disgusting furry talk. And let's instead move on to our next entry. And I know what you're all thinking. Man, Joe, what the hell is the pig here for? You into fat people or something? The answer to that is yes, because more cushion for the pushing is what I always say, but I also love my skinny kings and queens. But no, my dear viewer, because I am not talking about that, because if you look even closer at the picture, which I mean, go ahead and do that right now and try to take your best guess. Does anyone have an answer locked in? Well, if anyone guessed breeding kink based on the piglets on there, then I want you all to pat yourselves in the back for having a mind as demented as Joe. For everyone else who got it wrong, well, you all still have more goon training to do because you're not at my level yet. But yeah, to continue on with the breeding kink, how do I describe it? Well, it's the act of liking to get bred, and some people enjoy it without the whole baby aspect of it all, but they like the role play of being used for breeding purposes only. This has a lot to do with my favorite type of pie that originates from Boston. And you bet your bottom dollar that I'm talking about the cream pie. So I have to give it an S tier.
Jesus Christ, Joe.
What, man? I literally said no cuss words and only mentioned breeding in animalistic terms. And when I said cream pies, I was only talking about the Boston cream pie and nothing more. But real freaks like me know that there's more to it. But yes, let's not talk about that further, because we then have a smashed birthday cake. And you again might be like, what in the hell is this, Joe? And well, this one should actually be easy to guess because it's food play. And this yet again is another D tier, because who the hell likes to have food getting smashed into their face or rubbed all over their body? Like, that just seems gross. And I can't imagine anyone genuinely enjoying it. Unless you're like Donald, I guess. Sorry to kink shame. Kink.
Sleepy Joe, you got me all sorts of f***ed up if you think I'm going to be into this kink. It's gross, sloppy, and most damning of all, it is a huge waste of food, and the Don will not stand by that.
Way to have a moral ground because you hate food being wasted. A dub is a dub, I guess.
Well, then I guess we're all happy with this placement. Well, anyways, after that, we got a freaking S tier, because who the hell doesn't love themselves a good old pair of feet? I'd lick between the toes and just worship a goddess's foot. The perfect shape and length would get the Joester's Joe engine going faster than a speeding bullet.
Gross as hell, Joe. I can't imagine just loving feet.
That's because you're more vanilla than the ice cream Barack. Did you know that foot fetishes are the most common form of fetishes in the world? And also, riddle me this, Barack. Are you telling me with a straight face that you as a straight man would turn down the chance to make out with Margot Robbie if she said, but first I want you to lick my toes?
Okay, obviously I would if I were a single man, but that's only to achieve the end goal of kissing her.
You just don't get it, Barack. If Margot Robbie is hot, then by extension, her feet are hot as well. And you know damn well I'd get turned on if she shows a bit of her soul to me.
Donald just freaking gets it, man. We're like a tag team duo right now. But yes, then following that, we then have the good old cuck chair that every hotel has. And this is a C tier. The idea of being a cuck very much so displeases the Joe Dog, but the idea of being the cucker rather than the cucky, well, hot damn, that intrigues me a lot. But more importantly, we have some fun ones up next, and we have the masochist with the gimp mask and the sadist with the whip. And I have masochism going into B tier because I love pain so goddamn much. And the act of being treated like dirt just turns the Joester on to high extremes. Why do you all think I bumble my words and say wrong things when I address the nation or in debates? I get so turned on hearing you all ridicule me and say mean things about me that I can't help to get off to it. I only place it in B tier because a lowly, filthy being such as myself doesn't deserve the pleasure that my master gives me, and I am undeserving of good things in my life, and I need to be punished more, which is why I then have sadism going into A tier. Have I been bad, master? The Joester needs to get punished for placing this so low.
You know, it's gotten to the point where this doesn't get a reaction out of me. I'm absolutely so fried in the head because when Joe just went on that whole rant, I didn't even bat an eye. I'm so freaking desensitized to all this craziness that I literally heard all that and just said, yep, that's Joe, all right. Like, what kind of mentally sane person does that? I am so screwed, and I don't even know if I can function in society anymore.
I don't know what you mean by that, Barack, because I'm quite the normal person. Like, for instance, I have this next entry going into D tier because pee play is gross and I do not want someone whizzing on me because that belongs in the damn toilet.
Oh, so that's where the line is drawn, at piss, but not at any of the other stuff you said earlier?
Barry, come on now. The man has morals.
Thanks for the backup, Donald. But yeah, do you think I'm some sort of freak or something? Jesus, Barack, have some class. Anyways, then we have voyeurism, which means you like to watch said freaky things happening, and that is getting an A tier because the Joe Dog likes to watch a whole lot of XNXX or the Hub, and I don't know if that counts as that, but I'll place it there. And then the Art of the Flasher is up next, and this gets a B tier because while I do enjoy flashing the playground that's in my second home in Pennsylvania, but I don't really like the part after where I get arrested when I get caught. So overall, still a good experience though, but an even better experience is our next entry because we have bondage and rope play, and this gets yet another banging A tier because I love it when people tie up the joester.
I enjoy the freaky activities like that too. Except the last time I did that in Vegas, I got tied to the bed and they ran my pockets and stole everything to my name, and I had a very awkward talk with the hotel manager.
You got to take that risk sometimes, Donald. But yes, we are now on the final entry on the list, and if you all can't tell by the milk icon, well, this is a lactation kink, and you bet your ass the joester is just like Homelander, and I need some of Mommy's milk to go inside of me, and I have to place this into S tier.
Well, I am thanking every god possible that this is finally over. I still don't know how we continually sink to a newer low every time.
Just give us some time, and I'm sure we can disappoint you again, Barack, because every time we hit rock bottom, the Joe Dog will remind you that we can go lower. What is going on, gang-a-lang? We are back with another tier list, and this time around we're going to be talking about some Crayola crayons, and goddamn, the Joe Dog is super excited about this one.
That's it? We're not going to talk about what the hell happened to me literally the other day? The literal elephant in the room?
Fine, I guess if you insist, Donald, well, I don't know how to properly phrase this, and I know I may butcher my words, but I'm sure everyone may be aware of what happened to Donald in his time in, what was it, Pennsylvania? I'm sure many of you saw it on the news, or maybe were possibly browsing Twitter, and boom, this news was literally all over. And there was no escaping it. Like, I literally tried my best to actively avoid it, and I couldn't because it was being plastered all over, and so many people were in support of Donald, but, golly, I'm just at a loss for words. But yeah, to finally address the elephant in the room, and it's the fact that Donald finally got a haircut.
Jesus Christ, Joe, you know that's not what happened.
Was there something else that went down recently? I swear everything has been relatively normal. Did Donald go on Ozempic?
Dude, half of my goddamn ear is missing and you're here laughing.
Hey man, any type of weight loss is a good thing for you.
I'm actually going to kill you. I think this is my 13th reason why, and I think I have actually snapped.
Listen, bro, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it didn't even hit any important part of your body, and you had both me and Barack check up on you. Well, what do you want us to do? Nurse you back to health and feed you some breast milk straight from our teat?
Dude, I literally could have died that day. I was a head turn away from dying Joe.
Yeah, but it didn't really happen, so it just sounds like you're complaining about a whole lot of nothing right now. More importantly, you also won in Mario Kart later that day when we played. So I guess we're even Stevens now, I guess. You're missing a portion of your ear, and I feel slightly bad that I lost in Mario Kart. I think it's a win-win if you ask little old Joe here, and we've both had minor inconveniences.
Joe, bro, he could have died. You do realize that?
Well, no shit, Sherlock. That's how guns work. God, Donald, this guy's a silly goose, isn't he?
I actually think I hate you. It was only kind of nice to hear your voice during that phone call we had. But no, in all seriousness, I don't think I'm being a drama queen at all. Like, I think you're massively underplaying it.
Well, we know the guy massively undershot it because I don't know how he missed that big of a target. But I'm glad he did. You're still here with us, and we love you for it.
I hate you too, Barack, but you know, maybe those Ozempic pills were working because if I was a few pounds heavier, then I don't think I'd be here right now. The bulk definitely is over now. I am retiring from eating. Well, retiring from eating as much as I used to, but I can definitely maintain my weight right now.
Wow, would you look at that. All it took was a near-death experience in Ozempic. Hooray! I'm so happy for you, Donald. Thank God you're alive, because now you can still experience the great joys in life. Hanging out with the youngins, being with them, caressing them, I guess jerking off too, but anyways, enough of that because we have a freaking crayon tier list to get started. And this is going to be based on a lot of factors, but let the Joe Dog get started on it with our first color, which is going to be black. Now I think I'm going to give the black crayon an A tier. Now, while it's a cool color, I just ultimately think that it's too overpowering. And the taste of it isn't as good as something like blue or orange. And if we talk about the actual color itself, it's nice, but not the best.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone there, because did you just say that the flavor of the black crayon isn't as good as the blue or orange one?
Yeah, bro, I just feel like the flavor doesn't mount up to those two, and it truly belongs only in A tier. Like, don't get me wrong, I like munching on black crayons as much as the next guy. But let's be for real here, man. It's not as tasty as the other ones.
Holy shit. I honestly can't tell if it's me and the bullet fragments in my skull maybe, or if I heard that all correctly.
You definitely heard that correctly. And Joe, you do realize that this is a crayon color tier list. It has nothing to do with the flavor. And as a matter of fact, no one is over here grading Crayola flavors because no one eats Crayola's crayons.
Oh, I guess that's just me and Shoe Nice eating crayons. Well, I guess this list isn't as interesting to me anymore, but sure, we can keep ranking the colors. I'm telling you guys, though, some non-toxic crayons go absolutely schizo nuts. But anywho, then after black, we now have white. And I know that picture for it looks all sorts of messed up. But what did Michael Jackson say? It's bigger than black and white. Well, except in this case, because I have white only going into D tier. If we mentioned the flavor, it would go higher. But I'm being silenced by higher powers that are not allowing me to talk about the delicious texture and exquisite flavor profile that this white crayon has. But sure, let's talk about its dumbass color. White is basically useless as hell, and unless you have a black canvas, you can't even see it, and that's why it sucks ass. But thankfully, we have back-to-back bangers up next because I have blue and red crayons both getting S tiers. Because when the hell could you not like the color of blood and blue raspberry slushy from Sonic?
Those are possibly the two oddest things you could have said. Why not just say red like a fire hydrant and blue like the ocean? Who the hell brings up the Sonic slushy first when thinking of the color blue? And don't mention blood, man. You're triggering me.
Well, I saw that one photo of you and thought of red, but man, who doesn't like a Sonic slushy? Here's a little Joe tip, all my Sonic fanatics out there. And no, we're not talking about the game, haha. Oh man, I crack myself up. But yeah, when you go to Sonic and get a slushy, make sure you get it off the app, because it's 50% off, and you can get the biggest size for only $1.50, and it's absolutely humongous. But let's say you want to step up your flavor game. Well, then you'd go and make it dirty, and they will add coconut flavoring, limes, and sweet cream in order to make it taste yummy. And with blue raspberry, it's an absolute banger.
That actually doesn't sound awful. I think I'll be trying out your Joe tip. It's strange to hear you not say something gross for once. But I swear you said this before about the Dr. Pepper.
Listen, man, half the stuff I say goes in and out, and I barely remember what I had to eat earlier the same day. But I seriously don't know what you mean by me saying something gross, because I'm a pretty normal person. But yeah, then moving on, we then have purple. And listen here, the Joe Dog loves him some of the color purple because it is the color of grapes, and also the color Grimace, which also so happens to be the color of the Grimace shake. And the Joe Dog loved himself the Grimace shake. The Joe Dog thinks that it is more than enough of a reason to give it an A tier. Then after, though, we have some back-to-back B tier entries up next because we have green and yellow both going there. And listen, there isn't much wrong with either green or yellow, but like imagine having that same color Crayola as the color of your car. Some pea yellow car and some spinach green would not bang at all. But I will say that I like spinach, and I do like peeing, so I have to not give them too much flack.
What either of those things have to do with crayons, I really don't know, but you somehow fit that into our video.
This guy also mentioned the Grimace shake. That meme was like from a year or two ago. Like, Jesus Christ, Joe, you're really milking the hell out of dead memes.
God forbid I milk some memes that may be like a week or two old, but oh, we all get on our hands and knees and absolutely bend over backwards for Donald and let him milk the hell out of a couple of shots that so happen to be fired in his direction. Which, by the way, they didn't even hit him that hard, so like, who cares?
Joe, I tanked bullets and you barely can go up some steps. We are simply not the same.
Those stairs were tricky. What do you want me to do about that? But whatever, man, I can tell you're simply hating and clip farming right now and trying to capitalize off this. Well, whatever, man, watch, because next time I stumble, my words are fall. I'm going to be just like you and act like the sky is falling or something. Anywho, after that, we then have pink, and maybe because it's the color of my nipples, I think I have to give it an A tier. You know what they say, the color of your nipples often is the same color as your...
Don't finish that statement, Joe.
I was going to say lips. Nah, I'm just playing. I was most definitely going to say what you thought I was going to say. But yeah, following the pinky winky glory we just had, we then have back-to-back C tiers coming up next, because brown and gray just don't really do it for the Joester. Like, if you ask the Joester, I just don't think those two really do it for me. Like, the only reason that gray doesn't go lower is because it is at least visible, unlike white, and can probably provide shading, but I don't really know because I'm not an artist. As for brown, well, I just don't think it looks all that good. Like, you ever see someone pull off a brown suit where you don't look like you're wearing some doo-doo?
You know, Joe, you might be spitting here. I don't ever think it's a good idea to wear something that is the same color of what comes out of your butthole.
On God, Donald. But yes, now ending our wonderful tier list, we lastly have the orange crayon. Now, this is what modern philosophers often ask themselves. It's not the chicken or the egg, but rather it is the color orange or the fruit. Which one came first? I don't know, and that's the big deal.
Well, Joe, both were answered, and most scientists say that the egg came first and then the fruit came before the color. So, yeah, man.
Oh, well, now I look stupid. Whatever, man, this gets an S tier.
Oh yeah, Joe, this is definitely what made you look stupid. Not literally anything else you said in this video, like when you literally said you ate crayons.
Okay, and do you want me to tell everyone what I told you in that phone call?
Okay, relax, man.
Wait, what did he do?
Fraile, cut the video.
Warning, this video should not be taken seriously. This is all satire and jokes. Any political opinions you think are coming from this video are false. Please don't start a war in the comments, because this is for goofs and gaffs. Thank you, and now enjoy the video.
What is going on, gang-a-lang? We are back with another video. And this time around, we are going to be making a president's tier list. And before anyone says anything, no, we are not going to be doing a comprehensive list of every single president, because that would take too long. And I'm pretty sure more than half of you can't even name off the 13th or even 21st president. Like, no offense to those dead people, but they're irrelevant as hell.
How dare you say that about Millard Fillmore and Chester A. Arthur?
No shot you actually knew about those dudes before Barack said them. You had to have them pulled up on Google. But anyways, Barack, don't you think people will be upset you didn't include more presidents? Because, I mean, we have Nixon's head from Futurama, and that's kind of a joke.
Listen, man, this whole list is going to be a whole joke. We can't really put any inflammatory remarks, especially about you two, because Jesus Christ, who knows what'll happen. So instead, we'll be ranking them based on random factors.
And what are those random factors, Barack?
I don't know. I guess on just whatever I feel like rating them, because this is a certified fresh Obama tier list.
I don't remember him ever doing that before. Was that always his catchphrase, Donald?
No, man, this guy is continually trying to set trends that will never stick. He barely got the Obamas to stick, but I swear I've never seen anyone in the comments call themselves a proud Obama member.
The gentlemen in the Discord have to disagree with you on that one.
Yeah, but there's more Joe heads than Obamas.
I have more than the two of you combined, and I don't even have a name for my fan base. They all just know that they're a part of the Don's Mafia, and that's more than enough for them. They don't need some stupid nickname.
I'd call your fan base the Trumpy Dumpies, because they have to worship that thick ass of yours.
All right, and that's enough of an intro, because now we have to actually start the video. Well, up first we got Abraham Lincoln, and I am feeling a whole lot of ways about him, but I am mainly rooting for him because he's from Illinois. And, well, if you all didn't know, I'm kind of a big deal over there. I think for my fellow Illinois resident, I have to give him an S tier.
Don't forget that there were also reports that some writers have discussed some evidence that he may have been a homosexual. Now, if you ask Joey here, I think that is gas, and we definitely need another president who knows how to suck and take it up the butt. And that's why I think I endorse Peter Buttigieg for 2028.
Joe, I don't think that matters at all, but glad to hear your endorsement, I guess, even though you butchered the man's last name.
Nah, man, you're not seeing the Joe Dog's vision on this.
Don't think I do, but whatever, man, he stays in S tier because I think he's cool.
Could have sworn that you were going to put him in S tier just because without him, I doubt you'd be able to run for president, let alone even be free.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of a big deal, but I wanted to give him credit because he's from where I was a senator. So I just thought it was cool, but sure, I guess we can say that as well.
Okay, now I want you to hear me out, Barack, not to be offensive, but since we're on the topic of racism.
Don't think that was the topic at hand at all, but sure, because every sentence that includes not to be offensive always tends to never be offending. So yeah, Joe, go ahead and hit me with your dumb statement.
Whoa, is that true? Whoa, thank golly I said that then. But anyways, back to the question at hand. How can I phrase this delicately? I guess I wanted to ask you if you think me and Donald would sell for high value in the slave market. Like if you saw me and him both with for sale signs on us, which one would you buy? And I can definitely say this because I'm white and so is Donald. Well, he's more orange than white, but anyways, that's besides the point because I wanted to ask you, Barack, who is my brother from another mother, who would you buy?
Joe, how stupid can you get asking something like that to Barack? You know his cultural background and you still had the balls to ask that? Of course it would be me because he knows I'd go crazy in any physical activity. I mean, the man also just saw me tank a bullet in real time, so he knows I'm more durable than a man who can't go up the stairs without some railing.
Yeah, but what you're getting from the Joe Dog is a set of skills that no other man can replicate. No one has the mind I possess, and no one can hit a woman as hard as the Joester can. And I haven't even touched on how good I am at childcare.
I'd rather save a quarter than spend it on either of you. One is too fat to do anything before he gets tired and wants to take a break, and the other can't even properly walk in a straight line, so I don't see why I'd do that. But I think the worst part about you both is that you are both so stupid.
But can Lincoln dodge a bullet as good as me? I feel like we're underrating my reflexes.
My bad, Donald. I forgot someone probably held up a hamburger and it made you turn your head, but congrats on that one achievement. Anyways, let's move on with the list. And up next, we have another president that did not survive their shooting, and that is JFK. And honestly, this guy is an auto S tier. I loved what he did, and he was such a charismatic guy and had a good voice, if you ask me.
Yeah, and I can look up a YouTube video where I can see his brain turn into goop in a matter of seconds. Now that's pretty epic.
God, that's morbid as hell, Joe. Don't disrespect my boy because he was getting tail left and right in the office, and any man who is bagging that many baddies in the office deserves an award.
Shit, you're right, man. The dude was indeed a legend.
Jesus Christ, man. Well, either way, up next, we have our first glorified D tier in Ronald Reagan. And this man only gets some respect from me because he was a glorified scam artist. He went from Democrat to Republican to get more money for himself and somehow tricked the whole population into electing him despite the dude not caring about anything but his wallet. There's just so much to dislike about this guy, especially looking back on it all, and it should be a reminder to never elect a freaking actor into office.
Damn, did an actor bang your wife or something? Sounds like you're mad hating on a guy for simply chasing the bag. He was making money moves while you were making funny moves, Barack.
Ronald Reagan, I will find you in hell. Mark the Joe Dog's words.
All right, we'll agree to disagree, Donald, but I'll have you know that he granted amnesty to a bunch of illegal immigrants, which led them and their children to becoming citizens.
Oh, hell no. This guy belongs in D tier for sure.
It's stupid that it took me saying that when that was possibly one of the good things he did, but whatever. Anyways, moving on to our next entry, we then have Nixon's head from Futurama. And this guy gets an S tier. He was the president of planet Earth, so like we have to give him credit for that, right? Like imagine uniting a whole freaking planet while missing your whole body. I think that's mighty impressive. But the real Nixon only gets a C tier. But I almost gave him a D tier, to be quite honest. The only reason he didn't get a D tier is because he talks funny, and I quite like that. If he didn't have that one quality to him, then he'd be in the dumps with Reagan.
Now wait a darn tootin' second. Do I talk funny?
Joe, you only talk funny when you stumble your words, but believe me that you look mighty funny, so that makes up for it.
Oh, heck yes. I'm going to get bonus points from Barack.
I wouldn't give yourself any credit, Joe, because I have a special place for you and Donald on this list. But anyways, let's move on to my buddy Bill. And I love my bro a lot. And Monica Lewinsky stuff aside, he was a pretty chill guy, and I have to give him an A tier. I liked his haircut at the time, and he's very memeable.
I loved his little shtick where he went and said, I did not have sexual relations with that woman, but we all know bro went absolutely crazy on that. He definitely gets nucks from the Don.
He'd get a Biden blast for sure, and I'd dap him up for that and even put him in S tier, because the real baller move is that he did that and probably did it with other girls, but he kept his main girl in check and didn't let himself get divorced. Now that's some top-tier strategy and gaslighting, and I won't lie. Hillary was kind of a baddie when she was younger.
Now you're definitely losing me, Joe.
No, like Joe is actually spitting here. Just Google her and she kind of looked like Sabrina Carpenter, just not as hot.
All right, that's enough of that because we're getting closer and closer to my favorite rankings, which are going to be you two. But up next, we got George Bush. And listen, this guy may or may not have been responsible for taking down a set of towers, but I won't feed into that. But hey, I liked talking to the guy before I took presidency. He was usually pretty chill, and I won't lie. He also had a funny voice, so I have to give him a B tier. He isn't as chill as Bill, but I mean, he was still pretty cool.
Okay, now give me the most obvious S tier in the planet and put Sleepy Joe in D tier.
More like he's gonna put me in the coolest guy ever tier while putting you into the not the coolest guy ever tier.
Whoa, settle down, you two. And Joe, that isn't even a damn tier on this list, but more importantly, aren't you guys forgetting that there's literally someone super important in front of you two? Like some would regard this guy as the last good president and was leading the nation in the best way possible. And I think we should pay our respects to him. Why don't you two tell me your favorite things about me?
I really liked how you promised a whole lot of things and delivered on almost none of it. Me and Joe are definitely taking pages out of your book on that. What else? I guess we can also say that we loved how you decimated the Middle East and bombed all those innocent people and places. I thought that was pretty excessive, but hell, I wasn't in charge, so it's pretty rad to see bombs go off. I don't know what else to say. Joe, you got anything?
I really liked how you chose me for vice president, and I really liked playing Nintendo with you in the White House. I also thought the bombings were harsh, but like you were on a kill streak, so how could I stop you? I also really like your smile, Barack.
Okay, screw you both, and I am placing myself into S tier while both you and Joe get a resounding stinky D tier. Hope you two like those abysmal ratings.
Well, that just seems unjustified. Me and Joe definitely deserve something higher.
I think he's just cranky because we didn't let him join our top secret call when you got shot.
I told you guys I was available, and you both ignored me.
Damn, our fault. I didn't think you'd get this butt hurt. But yeah, you're definitely not an S tier, bro.
Go kick rocks.
What is going on, gang-a-lang? We are back with another video. And listen, ever since I almost died, it has got me thinking. And well, I feel like the Don hasn't spread enough positivity in his life. So in today's video, we are going to be ranking the various ways to help yourself in life based on my opinions only. So please don't take offense.
But Donald, one of the biggest things that helped me personally isn't on this list. See, whenever the Joester is feeling down or has a bad day, I crank it and instantly feel better. Had a bad day at work. Crank it. Had a fight with your partner? Crank it. Lost an online match in whatever video game you were playing? Crank it. Got the wrong order at a food place? Crank it. Any minor inconvenience? Crank it.
Joe, that just sounds like you're addicted to, I guess, just cranking it, as you put so eloquently.
If I were addicted, then why would it feel so good every time I do it? And why do I get cravings to do it every single day? And then after I finish, I immediately get extremely depressed and think about where I went wrong in life. Yeah, checkmate, bro. That's like saying that I'm addicted to food. Like I need that to survive, you silly Billy.
Joe, it sounds like you have actual issues, but don't worry because the Don has turned a new leaf for at least like the rest of this week. So you all better take advantage of this and listen to my words of advice because it's about damn time I start this self-help tier list. And up first, we have a banging S tier because we have therapy coming up first. Now, therapy is extremely good in general, but sometimes you don't have to go and you can achieve inner peace if you dwell on something long enough or merely thug it out. However, if you can't thug it out any longer, then yeah, definitely get some therapy because talking it out may help you all. And I don't mean talking to your friends about your issues. See, they love you and all, but they aren't paid to listen to all your issues, and you're only putting more stress in their life when you don't even know what's going on in theirs. That would not be very cash money of you all if you claim to not want therapy, but then go trauma dumping onto others in your lives. And the Don has realized that. That being said, I understand if you all aren't comfortable with the idea of strangers hearing your secrets, or even if you've already gone and how it didn't work for you. And see, these people are paid professionals, and a lot of people go in thinking, one session and then they'll cure me, and see, that's not how it works. Your mind/brain is your own beast. And at the end of the day, no matter what they do, they can't cure you. What they can do is help ease your mind and guide you towards an answer that you will accept, because at the end of the day, you are your own mind's keeper.
Jesus Christ, that was super insightful and not at all what I expected from you, Donald.
Dude, I've become enlightened and wanted to genuinely help the people. But yeah, speaking of helping the people, we then have joining a cult, and this is an immediate D tier, like you only hear about negative things regarding cults, like that one cult that drank Kool-Aid and like all died.
What about your MAGA cult?
Well, I admit they can be a rambunctious group, but I wish to spread peace and love only.
You know, I've always wondered what that meant. MAGA, does MAGA stand for make a gorgeous ass? And since I see you talk about that constantly, you must be referring to your glorious Trump rump.
Oh, Joe, you're so silly. Oh, man, it's a little odd that you constantly compliment my figure, but it does indeed make me blush, you silly goose. Well, those nice Joe comments aside, we then have back-to-back banging S tiers coming up next, because we got video games and friendships. And I don't know what better combo there is than these two. And thankfully, I got my brothers here with Barack and Joey. And I know I trash on you two a lot, but genuinely, I want to thank you two both for being there for me. Like, I know you're the butt of the joke, usually, Barack, but I genuinely appreciate you. And I love you, Joe, like a brother, for calling me when I got shot.
Okay, this is getting too wholesome. What the hell is happening? Who are you, and what have you done with our orange, fat piece of shit?
Okay, let's relax now, Barack, because that language isn't really appropriate.
It might be me, or it might be the 8-ball of Coke I just shared with Hunter, but I think Donald might be acting a little funny.
Jesus Christ, Joe, you need to get off the booger sugar, and yes, he's acting super weird.
You guys know I lost a couple of pounds the other day. It must be the Ozempic, but if anyone is overweight like me, I'd also recommend weight loss as a self-help goal. It's not on this list, but I'd recommend it to you all.
This is like it's opposite day. God, I feel so out of whack. Joe, tell me, how do you feel about pain?
Well, you know I like a good beating, especially if I've been a naughty boy.
Okay, I'm definitely not dreaming, because I don't think I would ever want to hear those words come from Joe's mouth voluntarily.
Oh, Barack, you silly guy. Let's continue with the list instead of joking around like this. Then after we have coaching, and I cannot imagine how else to spend my time other than leading the youth in some organized sport. And I have to give this a B tier, because while it might be good to take your mind off things, it may also add more stress. But don't you all worry, because up next we have no FAP, and this helps, but it's not really a game changer unless you're addicted to those type of activities. But maybe it'll help reduce stress. Then we have cold showers, getting an A tier, because these are genuinely really good for you and can help you clear up your mind. And that's just amazing, if you ask me. And rounding off this bunch that I rated at once, we then have journaling getting a B tier, because I can't imagine what better way to spend my night rather than journaling all my thoughts so I can look back on them in the future.
Okay, this is weird as hell. I can't believe what's happening right now. He's talking different and acting different. Did they just replace Donald with a secret double?
Oh, Barack, one of the things I love most about you is your active imagination.
Oh, I think it's all starting to click in my coked out brain. Well, now that the high is wearing off, but I forgot I slipped in a bunch of Xanax into his drink earlier, and now he's all mellow and messed up in the brain.
Well, can you fix it?
Well, I am a bit of a chemist, so let me just think. If Xanax is a depressant and slows your brain, then naturally, to turn him back to normal, all I'd need to do is give him a stimulant. Here, I'm going to give some of this to Donald.
Joe, what did you just give him?
A little bit of crack.
Jesus Christ, why do you have that on you?
For emergencies like these.
What the hell is happening? Why do I feel so funky inside, and why am I doing a tier list? I remember really enjoying this at first, but this looks lame as hell. Who the hell is even asking for a self-help tier list? Like, this sounds boring as hell.
Thank God he's back. Although, was this really for the best?
Yes, because now he can properly punish the Joe Dog for the naughty boy that he really is.
Shut the hell up, Sleepy Joe, because I know that deep down you want me to degrade you and I am not giving you a nut for the night. Goddamn well, this tier list looks lame as hell, but I might as well finish it since we're basically almost done and I'm not about to waste any more screen time not talking. The people need to hear my holy decree because I am the man who escaped death. Bow down before me because I am a freaking god. Ahem. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and rate what's next. And we have Instagram affirmation pages. And Jesus Christ, what the hell is this? Give this garbage a D tier. And honestly, if you're clinging on to life through Instagram affirmation pages, then it might just be time to call it Raps Pal. Hang up the towel, or more accurately, hang yourself.
You can't say that, Donald. The monetization.
Oh, yeah. Whatever. You all know it's a D tier. Well, I'll try to be more advertiser friendly and try to give an actual rating, but like you all just need to learn how to thug it out like a real man, because the Don is a man who doesn't need something as stupid as like friendship. I will say though that video games bang, and I was cooking with that ranking when I made it. Well, anyways, then after we have back-to-back A tiers, because now I have to give actual rankings thanks to Barack, but yeah, I have meditation and room cleaning going up there because if you think about it, meditating is like the most original form of thugging it out. Like these monks who meditate in the mountains probably had a wife or some kids or maybe even some duties in their village, and instead of doing all that, they just abandoned all their duties and used their minds to work through their problems. So in essence, they really did just thug it out. Then as for cleaning rooms, well, I mainly put this high up because you're nasty as hell if you don't clean your room. Like, goddamn, I hate bitches that are like, man, I'm so depressed I haven't brushed my teeth or cleaned my room. Like, no shit. I'd be sad as hell too if I had doo-doo SpongeBob Sunday breath and then had to wake up next to gnats and ants eating away at all the filth in my room and then having to smell that the whole time I enter my room. Like, goddamn, do everyone a favor and do not be like Asmongold. That dude has a room so gross that I am setting the bar extremely low for room cleanliness. Just don't be Asmongold, and you know what? That's a win in the Don's book.
Well, there goes all of the kindness we had from earlier. Maybe Joe should give you more Xanax.
Hell no, man. That mellowed me out, but I felt like I was controlling myself from a third-person point of view. Felt like I was moving through honey or something. I did not like it, but at the same time I did. I don't know how to describe it. But anyways, we now have our last entry on this list, and we have self-help books, and I'm going to give these scams a C tier. Like, Jesus Christ, if you're paying money for a book that'll supposedly make you feel better, then you're better off just buying movie tickets or even buying a scratch-off at a gas station. Like, at least with the scratch-off, you'll have an opportunity to make money back. Meanwhile, with the damn book, you'll be lucky to get anything out of it, especially if it's those books where you journal and write your own helpful tips. But I appreciate the art of the scam, so that's why it gets a C tier in my book.
I miss the person you once were before the pipe.
The only pipe I want is the one I want to lay on a bunch of hot girls.
Or Joe's hot steaming pipe.
Joe, nobody in the world wants that pipe. What is going on, gang-a-lang? We are back with another tier list, and this time around, the great Don will be ranking different types of allergies, but I won't be ranking them on how lethal they are or how common they are. No, our dear viewer. The Don will instead be ranking these allergies on one thing and one thing alone: how lousy I think they are.
Okay, dude, what the hell? How is anyone supposed to know what you think is lousy or not?
That's exactly the point, Barack. The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. Plus, you're acting like I'm Sleepy Joe over here. I feel like the audience has a pretty good grasp and understanding on what the Don would find lousy or not. It's not like I'm Joe over here just making up stuff as he goes, because I can't even tell if he's done half the things he has said he's done, or if it's just the dementia working overtime.
Porque no puede ser las dos trompetas. Pero sí ha hecho muchas malas cosas en mi vida. En ratos pienso que no puedo arrepentirme de las atrocidades que yo ha hecho. Cada vez en mis sueños me imagino cómo podía ser diferente mi vida.
See, like it's shit like that, how the hell was anyone in the audience, much less us, supposed to know that on the flip of a dime, he was just going to start speaking Mexican to all of us?
Well, firstly, it's on the flip of a coin. And secondly, he was speaking Spanish, not Mexican.
Listen, man, that still doesn't change my point at all, but whatever, because you seem to just be ignoring what the hell came out of Joe's mouth.
I think it's for the best that we all do sometimes. Like, I don't want to know what he said in Spanish, but I pray it was advertiser friendly.
How about I advertise this dick in your mouth, you stupid fucking idiot mouth-breathing?
Whoa, Joey. Relax, man. Normally, I'd be all for this type of behavior, and I do agree with all those horrendous things you said about Barack, But ever since your fetish tier list, YouTube has been up our ass just sniffing and digging deep because of all the godforsaken stuff you've said. They've been hitting us harder than crack in the 80s, so you gotta behave, man.
YouTube just can't let a brother rank his fetishes in peace.
Oh, come on, Joe. This isn't Twitch or Kick. We can't do any hot tub live streams or body painting streams.
We can't yet.
I don't think anyone wants to see your boobs, Joe, because I feel like they'd sag hard enough where you have it touching your belly button. But anyways, we're getting much too distracted because we have a freaking allergy tier list to do, and the Don has been itching to do it. Well, not really, but this is what Fraile had on the to-do list. So anyways, up first we have bees, and I give this a C tier. Like, imagine being so frail that you die to the dudes that give us honey. Like, my ass has been stung so many times, and I'm proud to say that I tanked every single one. But man, if you told me that as a grown-ass man you were allergic to bees, man, I'd have no choice but to look at you differently. Still, though, it's pretty easy to avoid bees, and you can still eat honey. So overall, this is kind of a dub of an allergy to have.
Okay, so if this is a good allergy, then why aren't we putting it up higher? Is it worst to best or best to worst on this list?
Honestly, I have no clue, but I'm just going to put stuff wherever I feel like it. The Don is leaving his staunch ballsack print all over this list, and you all will just have to agree with me because I'm him. But yeah, then after we have our first A tier in milk, like it's supremely lousy to be allergic to milk, but I don't think anyone dies from this. Like, all you get is bubble guts and severe diarrhea. And if you're rich enough, you can just buy Lactaid tablets every day and tank through any dairy at all. So really, this isn't even that big of a deal. Our next entry, though, is kind of a big deal because, like, this is a wheat field or something. Like, I cannot imagine being so allergic that I can't walk through a couple of fields of wheat. That's literally like your own body sabotaging you and wanting you to just end it all. This has to go into S tier.
Okay, that's literally not it, and you all should not listen to what he says because allergies are quite common, so you all don't have to feel bad about that. But more importantly, Donald, what the hell is this about? You just said that this would be an S tier of an allergy, even though you ripped heavily on people who may have this.
God, Barack, can't you freaking pay attention, bro? He obviously said it was ranked on how lousy he thinks it is. If this is an S-tier lousy allergy, then he must really think this is lousy.
God leave it to Joe to be the only one who understands me. It almost brings me down to tears knowing that I won't be debating you anymore because you decided to drop out.
The voices in my head told me it was time to hang it up. Don't worry, Donald, we still have the rest of my presidency to have our smooches. Plus, I mean, well, does it really matter if I'm president or not? We have Barack here, and this dude was president like a century ago. Like Rick and Morty wasn't even made when bro was in office.
Okay, bro, that's a straight up lie because it was made in 2013, and why are you acting like you weren't my vice president during that time?
Has it been that long without Majestic Pickle Rick memes? Man, oh man, how time flies when we're having fun.
Don't you get sentimental on me, Joe, because if you start crying, I'm going to start crying. You know how I get.
I'm sorry, Donald. Let's just forget this whole thing and just enjoy our time in the now.
You're so right, Joey.
You two have a very odd relationship.
It's called being brothers Barack. You would know if you would have accepted my invitation to become my blood brother, but no, you didn't want to because, quote, you probably have the clap or some form of AIDS, dude. I'm not doing that. And now you're missing out.
Yeah, and for your information, Barack, hepatitis isn't really that bad.
Whatever, man. Can we just continue with the list? Because I forgot what we were even talking about before this.
Well, we talked about wheat or barley or whatever the hell this is and how sorry it is if you're allergic to it. But yeah, we can continue with the list, and after that we have cats. And listen, this is a reasonable as hell because cats always have so much fur that just falls and they don't kill you or anything. But goddamn, they make me sneeze so much. They're still cute though, so I think an A tier is warranted on the lousy scale. Then after we have another furry friend, and this time around we have dogs. And once again, they have all the fur, and it can be pretty lousy to just be sneezing all the time with dogs. But hey, at least the hypoallergenic breeds are cute as hell, so I have to give this a B tier.
I do have to admit that those small hypoallergenic dog breeds do be cute.
Yeah, I know, bro. That's why I had it only in B tier, but hold the phone because we got some stinkers up next because I have being allergic to eggs and meat going straight into D tier. Like, goddamn, this must be the absolute worst thing to ever happen to you. You know how many things include eggs? Listen, I don't know either, but I know it might be in a ton of stuff, and goddamn, being allergic to meat must be like being allergic to breathing. I'd off myself at that point.
Okay, once again, I don't get how this list works. So S tier is what you think is the most lousy, but D tier is also what you think is lousy. I'm confused.
Barack, once again, why do I have to explain everything? S tier is very lousy things that Donald would be okay with being allergic to, but it would still suck ass. Whilst D tier is stuff that he would absolutely hate to be allergic to and could not live with being allergic to them.
Goddamn, Joe, somehow once again you have understood my brain. I am amazed with how much you know me yet again. Barack, you should be taking down notes, bro, but anyways. After that, we then have fish going into B tier because, like, it's bad, and I do like eating fish, but it's not as bad as red meat, and honestly, it isn't that lousy. Like, that's close enough to shellfish or something, but yeah, then after we have back-to-back A tiers, because goddamn, being allergic to latex gloves or pills must be a pain in the ass. Like, I'd be able to live with it, but damn, it would be a minor inconvenience in my life, but not as bad as our next two, because I have peanuts and whatever the hell that plant is going straight into S tier. Like, these would be yet again another inconvenience, but it's not bad enough that I'd want to just end it all. It's still bad, though, because I love me some peanut butter, but damn, imagine being allergic to a peanut. Like, dying from a nut is insane.
Okay, man, that's a legit thing, man. And you should really be careful when handling peanuts, or any type of nuts for that matter.
Yeah, hear that, ladies. Got to be careful when handling the Don's nuts. Anyways, then after we have actual shellfish, and this gets a B tier because once again, that's a valid as hell allergy, but still kind of ass. Then we have what I presume to be soy. Like, I am giving this a C tier, but not because I can't live without it, but rather because I'd feel incredibly lousy telling someone I'm a little allergy-ridden soy boy, and I just can't have that.
I love me some soy boys. Honestly, I wish those reports on soy giving you boobs were true. It would have increased my consumption of it by at least tenfold.
I don't know why you want boobs as a man, Joe, but I won't stop you from living your dream. Well, Joe's odd wish aside, we now have our final S tier, and that is just regular old nuts, not just peanuts. And I don't know why the creator of this list decided to separate them, but whatever, man, I'm okay with separate but equal.
Excuse me?
For nuts, Barack, for nuts, I mean, we all know peanuts are the best. I don't see any cashew butter or pecan butter, so, like, they are clearly the better ones if you ask me. Well, now, rounding off this whole list, we now have what I assume are vaccines or just shots in general, and this is a C tier. Like, imagine not being able to get a very important shot and you're just screwed, bro. Like, it's wraps, and now you're probably going to get polio or something. The only positive to this is the fact that you wouldn't have to get needles inside of you, so that's a dub, I guess.
Yeah, and I heard that vaccines make you artistic.
Joe, that's not even the right thing, and that's also proven to be fake.
Oh, yeah? Then explain how after I got the COVID vaccine, I suddenly grew the artistic talent to draw this painting of me and Donald.
Joe, I don't even know what type of response you're trying to get from me after sharing that drawing.
Not from you, but Donald, tell me how you feel.
Joe, what the fuck?